Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. In today's Human Design Weather, we're going to be talking about the Gate 56, which is called the Seeker or the Wanderer or the Storyteller. Okay, so we've got the Sun in Gate 56, and the 56 comes right off the top of the throat center over here on the right, and it's paired with the Earth in Gate 60, which is already defined down here, and the 60's been in Pluto for a while. So that doesn't change much down here. We've already got the 360 defined again, and it starts the week with the 360 defined. So that'll continue until the end of August. But what we add this week, starting on Thursday, is this will center being defined along with the solar plexus, and it's connected with the 4037 channel, which is the channel of community, and that's going to be there all week. So it'll actually continue until I think it's about a week from now, because it moved into Mars, and the 37 was already in Saturn. So that's why we've got this 4037 connected. And what happens there is that we've got all four motors in the human design chart. So out of the 9 centers, these are the only 4 motors. All of them are defined for everybody. So whether you've got any of these defined or not, they're going to feel like as if they're defined for you this week with all the transits in. So we had the sacral defined and the root previously. Now we've got the will and the solar plexus defined. So you might find you're a little more emotional. You might find you're a little more willful. You might find like you have a lot of energy because you're going to have all 4 motors feeling as if they're defined. And we've also got the planets in retrograde. So Saturn, Neptune, and Pluto starting the week, and then by Sunday we had Venus. So it's kind of that retrograde season going on. So the Gate 56 is in the Sun, and it's called the Wanderer or the Seeker, or even stimulation. In the original I Ching, it's stability through movement, the perpetuation of continuity through the linking of short-term activity. Be the seeker, not the knower. So this Gate 56 is really about curiosity. It's being curious, right? It's being the seeker. It's the people like me, like probably a bunch of people who are always seeking, always finding, always seeking, let's put it that way, not always finding, but sometimes finding, and sometimes just continuing on. It's the curiosity seekers, right? It's the people, no matter what they're interested in, and they're interested in a lot of things usually. They're always trying to find new things, new ways of doing things, new projects, new friends, new events to go to, new lectures to watch, it's like never ending, right? There's always something new to find, and we like finding new things. And so I don't have this up in my incarnation cross, but my husband does, and I've got it further down in my chart. But we're just seekers. I mean, we've got lots of books, we go to lots of events. Pre-COVID, we went to a lot more stuff, but and now we're getting back to all of that, and it's just fun. It's just, can we take another class? Can we do another lecture? Can we find an event? Can we find a new play? What's going on? Is there that we went to a history conference over the weekend on Saturday, which was amazing. And that kind of leads to more thinking, oh, maybe we can do this, and maybe we can do that, and maybe we, do this. So it's just that kind of personality and that kind of seeker. In the incarnation crosses, it's the cross of laws, stimulation, and distraction. And in quantum human design, we call it expansion. On the other side, on the Earth side, we have the Gate 60, which is called the Gate of Limitation. It's also called acceptance in the original I Ching. And this is about and this has been in Pluto for a while now, so we've been talking about it, but it's about feeling the limitation and therefore growing, right? It's about feeling as if you're being limited, or if there is some limit put on you, and then seeking also. So these are both curiosity seekers, basically. And so it's the acceptance of limitation is the first step in transcendence, is the way they described it. And so basically accepting that there's some limitation, that there's something you don't know, that there's something you don't have, that there's something you might want, and then moving on from there. And so in the Gene Keys, limitation is the shadow, realism is the gift, and justice is the CD. And in quantum human design, we call this conservation. So with the Gene Key 56, the shadow here is distraction, which is kind of funny. I was looking at it and I looked at it quickly and I thought that the shadow was actually intoxication, but the CD is intoxication. So he's using it in a different type of way, but it's intoxicating to be so curious and keep finding things and to be always finding something new. It's intoxicating. The shadow is distraction. On the repressive side, it's sullenness or being sullen, and on the reactive side, it's being overstimulated. So the distraction is about being so not listening to the curiosity that's in your soul to such an extent that you allow yourself to be distracted by almost anything, right? And he says, in the modern world, we appear almost desperate to distract ourselves from who we really are. And the beauty of this is that as he says in the next quote, the 56th gift knows a great truth. True enjoyment is rooted inside your being rather than in the external. So the distractions that we find externally are really taking us away from knowing ourselves. It's actually pretty simple. We don't get to know ourselves when we're so distracted with other stuff that is not helping to fulfill us. If it's helping to fulfill you, that's one thing. If you're filled with enjoyment and enrichment, which is the gift, right? By whatever it is that fills you up. If you're just doing those things to distract yourself from knowing yourself fully, that's a distraction. And that's how you can tell the difference. If it's adding to you, if it's filling you up, if it's satisfying, if it's fulfillment, if it's contentment, then that's a good thing. That's enrichment. If it's just playing a video game or going to a movie to distract yourself from the real stuff that's going on in life, that's distraction. And so that's the difference. And you can tell on the repressive side where you might be fearful, you're going to feel sullen because you're not doing any of the things that might bring contentment. And if you're on the other side with the reactive side, which is all about anger, you're going to feel overstimulated, over distracted, over all that stuff. So he also says true entertainment involves laughter, inspiration, wonder, and ultimately intoxication, which is a cool way to look at it. And so in the graphic, he says inactivity is filled with magic. So basically sitting, being by yourself, going inward, that's where the magic happens. And that's what he calls intoxication. And we've got some birthdays this week. Actually, a lot of pretty famous people born this week in July, including Robin Williams, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, Ernest Hemingway, so a few writers, Sir Edmund Hillary, the explorer. Now, that's a curiosity, right? These are people who are curious and seekers and, kind of keep pushing the boundaries a little bit. They're not people who you would describe as, even though most of them have the right angle cross of laws, which is that 50, 56, 60, and then 50 and 3 in the incarnation cross. They're caring people. They do follow the laws, but I think they understand the laws and they're willing to push the edges a little bit, which is kind of cool. So happy birthday to all of them, including little Prince George, who's probably turning 8 or 9 at this point. And I hope you have a wonderful week. See where you're curious. See where curiosity comes up for you. this week. See where, especially with the four motors defined, what you might want to do to get out and use up that energy. You do take a nap when you need it, if you do. But otherwise, have an enjoyable time, and it's a great time, middle of the summer, to have four motors defined. So enjoy, have a great time, and I'll see you next time. Bye.